The story of The Summer I Turned Pretty has always been about love, heartbreak, and the choices that define us. Fans fell in love with Jenny Han's books because they carried both warmth and longing, the feeling of growing up and realizing how messy love can really be. Now, with Season 3 unfolding on screen, the show has taken those beloved moments and added new twists that no one saw coming. From the very beginning, Jenny Han promised something bold. She explained that while the series would stay true to the heart of the original story, it would not be afraid to take a different path. Those words stirred excitement, but also left fans nervous. How far could the story change before it no longer felt like the one we cherished? After the latest episodes, the answer is clear. The changes are much bigger than anyone expected. Belly, the girl who has always stood at the center of this love triangle, is no longer leaning toward Conrad the way the books once told us. She has drifted away from him and allowed herself to step closer to someone entirely new. Bonito, a name. That, in the novels, was little more than a playful joke Conrad scribbled into his letters, has now become a living, breathing character. And not just a background figure. He has stepped into Belly's heart in a very real way. Her connection with Jeremiah, the boy who once carried so much of her attention, has nearly vanished. Their bond, once complicated and emotional, has slipped into the background. Instead, we see Belly with Bonito, not just walking together through Paris, but sharing quiet moments, sharing laughter, even stepping into a romance that is shaping her story in a direction no reader could have predicted. Bonito even invites her to Mexico to meet his grandmother, a gesture that feels serious, almost like a promise of a future. Meanwhile, on the other side of this tangled web, Conrad and Jeremiah finally face each other. Their reunion is raw. It is filled with years of love, anger, regret, and unspoken truths. And in one of the most surprising turns, Jeremiah, instead of holding on to his pain, tells Conrad to fight for Belly. It is a moment that redefines both brothers. For so long, their love for Belly drove them apart. Now, for the first time, it may bring them closer together. At first, Belly ignores Conrad's letters. His words sit unanswered, his feelings left hanging in the air. But then something changes. She moves into her own apartment, a sign that she is beginning a new chapter of life, and with that new space comes a small but powerful decision. She writes back. Not a long letter, not a confession of love, but a short note with her new address, a simple gesture that whispers, "The door is not fully closed." Yet even with that glimmer of hope, the story refuses to give us certainty. The question remains heavy. Has Belly truly moved on, building a new life and a new love with Bonito? Or is her heart still carrying Conrad somewhere deep inside? Every choice she makes feels like a thread pulling the story in two directions, and the stakes are rising. Only one more episode stands between fans and the season finale. One episode to decide whether the happy ending of the books will hold true. Will Belly finally choose Conrad, just as Jenny Han once wrote? Or has the ending been rewritten entirely, leading us down a brand new road? What comes next will challenge every assumption we thought we knew about Belly's journey. Because in Paris, in the quiet streets and unfamiliar cafes, her world is no longer the same. She has stayed far from Cousins Beach, far from the memories of Conrad and Jeremiah. Thanksgiving came and went without her return. Christmas too. Instead, Belly stayed in Paris, splitting her days between working at a bar and studying online. She is building a new identity, far from the waves and sand that shaped her childhood summers. And in doing so, she has escaped more than just geography. She has escaped the weight of her past, the endless tug-of-war between Conrad and Jeremiah, or at least that is what it looks like on the surface. But the past has a way of finding us. And for Belly, that past arrives in the form of Bonito. Bonito may have started as nothing more than a fleeting mention in the books, a made-up name scribbled as a joke in Conrad's letters. But in the series, he has become something far greater. He is real. He is charming. He is present in Belly's world in ways that Conrad and Jeremiah from across the ocean simply cannot be. Their connection begins softly, like the first notes of a song you almost miss. But with encouragement from Taylor, who tells Belly to open her heart again, she dares to take a step toward him. That one step grows into something more. Quiet conversations become long walks. Shy glances become laughter that lingers. And before long, Belly allows herself to let go. The change is striking. In the books, Belly never shared intimacy with anyone until the very end. Her heart was always wrapped around Conrad, no matter how much she tried to deny it. But here, in this version of the story, she chooses differently. She lets herself be vulnerable with Benito, even sharing the kind of closeness that fans never expected to see. It is one of the biggest departures from Jenny Han's original story, and it changes everything. This single choice reshapes the love triangle. What once felt like a straight line between Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah now has an entirely new corner. Benito is not just a passing distraction. He is steady, kind, and present at the exact moment Belly feels most alone. That makes him dangerous to the story we thought we knew. Because if Belly builds something real with him, what happens to the ending we have all been waiting for? Yet, while Benito's presence grows, the writers do not abandon Conrad's side of the story. In fact, they lean into it more. His letters, filled with longing, arrive like whispers from another world. They carry the weight of everything he cannot say out loud, and they remind us of the bond that has always tied him to Belly. The show even gives us the iconic care package, a moment straight from the books. But here, it lands differently. In the novels, Conrad sends it to a Belly who has not truly moved on. In the show, he sends it to a Belly who is already stepping into a new relationship, already building something with Benito. It changes the entire meaning of the gesture. Instead of being a bridge back to her, it becomes a desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, there is still a place for him in her heart. At first, Belly does not answer. The silence lingers, heavy with uncertainty. But when she finally settles into her new apartment, signing the lease and marking her independence, she takes a pen and sends him a postcard. Just a postcard, brief words, a new address. But sometimes it is the smallest actions that matter the most. And this one tells us that she has not completely shut him out. While Belly and Benito's romance blooms in Paris, Jeremiah is finding his own path toward healing. After the heartbreak of the broken wedding, Jeremiah carried a heavy weight of anger. He was lost in it, consumed by it, unwilling to forgive either himself or the people who hurt him. But in episode 10, something shifts. He spends time with Laurel and later with Denise. And in those quiet conversations, he hears the kind of wisdom he needs most: forgiveness. Not just for others, but for himself. This advice opens a door inside him. For the first time, Jeremiah allows himself to face the truth, to face the years of pain, the broken pieces of his heart, and the role he played in it all. And when he finally sits across from Conrad, the moment is charged with emotion. Two brothers who once let love tear them apart finally speak with honesty. They talk about Belly, about how much they both loved her and how that love became a wall between them. But instead of anger, Jeremiah offers something unexpected: encouragement. He tells Conrad not to give up, not to waste the chance to fight for Belly. It is a moment that feels like closure, not just for Jeremiah, but for their bond as brothers. For once, love does not divide them. It brings them peace. It even hints at a future where Jeremiah might step aside completely, allowing Belly and Conrad to write the ending that has always felt destined. And yet, this story does not exist in destiny alone. Because while Conrad is finding hope again, Belly is preparing for her birthday. She tells her hairdresser she wants a new look for summer, a change that could symbolize something far greater. a fresh stage of life, a sign that she is ready to step forward, even if it means leaving the past behind. But what happens when she steps out of that salon, carrying her new look and her new identity, only to find Conrad standing there? Conrad, who has crossed an ocean, carrying every unspoken word in his heart. Conrad, ready to tell her he still loves her. The stage is set for a reunion that could break everything wide open. Conrad's journey to Paris is not just a flight across the ocean. It is the culmination of years of hesitation, fear, and regret. He has always loved Belly, but time and again, he let that love slip through his fingers. Now, with Jeremiah's encouragement and the weight of silence pressing on him, he refuses to wait any longer. He books the ticket. He packs his heart. And he sets out to see her. But Paris is no longer the safe stage where Conrad and Belly's story played out in the books. It is different now. Because Benito is there, standing firmly in the place Conrad once thought was his, Belly is not single this time. She is not waiting for Conrad, lonely and unsure. She has already let someone else in. Benito is kind, reliable, and most importantly, he has been present when Conrad was not. That changes everything. When Conrad finally stands before her, the tension will be undeniable. On one side, Benito, steady and caring, offering Belly a life free from the storms of her past. On the other side, Conrad, the boy she has always loved deep down, the one whose presence stirs memories she cannot bury. At first, it seems almost certain that she will push Conrad away. How could she not? She is already with someone else. And yet emotions are not that simple. Feelings have a way of rising, of breaking through no matter how hard you try to keep them locked away. Belly has always been tied to Conrad, even when she fought it, even when she ran from it. Every letter, every summer, every stolen glance has carved a place for him inside her heart. That bond does not vanish simply because Benito entered the picture. If anything, Conrad's arrival threatens to awaken everything Belly has been trying to hide, and this is where the finale promises to be its most emotional. Because Belly is torn in two. On the surface, Benito seems like the safe choice. He is uncomplicated, steady, and untouched by the years of tangled history that follow Conrad. He represents a fresh beginning. But safety is not the same as destiny. Conrad carries something Benito never can. History, depth, a love that has weathered storms and still refuses to die. From childhood summers to heartbreak-filled winters, their story has always been threaded with something more than chance, something that feels inevitable. Still, Benito's presence cannot be dismissed. He has been written into the story with such weight that he no longer feels like a temporary obstacle. His role is real. His love is genuine, and his place in Belly's life is strong enough to create true conflict. That is what makes this season so different from the books. Instead of a straightforward path back to Conrad, Belly is caught in a genuine dilemma, one that forces her to decide what she values most: comfort and new beginnings, or a love that has been messy, painful, but unforgettable. Meanwhile, Jeremiah's arc quietly shifts into something almost peaceful. For so long, he was the other point of the triangle, the boy who might have been chosen, the one who offered Belly a softer kind of love. But now, we see him stepping back, healing, and even discovering a small spark of connection with Denise. It is subtle, but it matters, because it suggests Jeremiah's future may no longer revolve around Belly at all. Instead, he might finally find happiness on his own path. This makes the triangle less about Jeremiah versus Conrad and more about Conrad versus Benito, and that is where the drama intensifies. Fans who expected the familiar rhythm of the books now find themselves facing a story filled with new uncertainty. Will Jenny Han still give us the ending we know, or is she daring to rewrite everything? By the end of episode 10, all the pieces are in place. Belly with her new look, Conrad on his way to Paris, Benito firmly established in her life, Jeremiah stepping aside, and an entire fandom waiting, breathless, to see what happens when these worlds collide. The finale is no longer just about who Belly chooses. It is about whether love is stronger than time, distance, and change. It is about whether the boy she has loved since childhood can still be her future, or if life has already moved her forward, leaving Conrad behind. Every sign points toward a storm of emotions, a reunion that will be beautiful and heartbreaking all at once. The finale of The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3 is poised to test everything. Belly's choices, Conrad's persistence, Benito's place in her life, and Jeremiah's quiet acceptance all collide in a single moment. Imagine the scene. Belly steps out of the salon with her new look, ready for a fresh start, when Conrad is there waiting. The boy she has tried to leave behind, the boy who has crossed an ocean just to tell her what he should have said long ago. I still love you. Simple words, but they carry years of weight. At first, Belly may reject him. How could she not? She has already built something real with Benito. She has shared her time, her trust, even her heart with him. Walking away from that would not be easy. Yet as Conrad stands before her, memories flood back. Summers at Cousins Beach, laughter under fireworks, the ache of first love, and the bittersweet longing that never truly left her. No matter how far she runs, Conrad is a part of her. He always has been. This is where the finale becomes more than just a love triangle. It becomes a test of truth. Because Benito may offer safety and kindness, but Conrad offers something deeper, a history that refuses to fade, a love that has been broken and rebuilt again and again. The kind of bond that feels inevitable, even when it hurts. The writers have stretched Benito's character further than anyone expected. If he had remained a small footnote, Belly's reunion with Conrad would feel simple. But now, with Benito established as a real contender, the choice becomes far more complicated. Belly must break someone's heart, and in doing so, she risks breaking her own. Jeremiah's role in this finale is quieter but just as important. By encouraging Conrad to fight for Belly, he closes his own chapter of longing. He steps aside with dignity, perhaps even opening his heart towards someone new like Denise. That subtle shift frees him. It also brings peace between the brothers, allowing them to move forward without bitterness. And so, the stage narrows to two: Benito, who represents new beginnings, and Conrad, who represents unfinished destiny. But if the story has taught us anything, it is that Jenny Han always brings us back to the heart. And the heart of this story has always been Belly and Conrad. Every change, every twist, every surprise has circled back to that truth. No matter how much Belly resists, no matter how much Conrad falters, their bond endures. The finale could very well deliver one of the most emotional reunions of the entire series. Belly may try to push Conrad away at first, clinging to the comfort of Benito. But as time passes, she will feel the pull she cannot deny. Slowly, she will realize that Conrad is not just a part of her past. He is her future. We may even see a time jump, carrying us beyond Paris and back home, where Belly and Conrad begin a new chapter together. Perhaps even a wedding echoing the books. Imagine Belly walking down the aisle in the same dress she once bought for Jeremiah, but this time it is Conrad waiting at the end. Jeremiah is there too, no longer as the heartbroken ex, but as a supportive brother, possibly with Denise by his side. It would be a full circle moment, a moment that proves love can endure heartbreak, distance, and time. Jenny Han may have changed the details, but it is hard to imagine her changing the core. Belly and Conrad are the endgame. That has always been the heartbeat of this story, so now the question rests with us. Do you believe Belly will choose Benito, the safe path she has carved in Paris? Or will Conrad's love, with all its history and weight, prove too strong to ignore? One thing is certain. The finale is not just another episode. It is the moment where all the longing, all the choices, and all the heartbreak finally lead to an answer. The summer may have turned pretty, but the ending will decide if it turns unforgettable.